What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 231. It is September 2nd as of this recording. It's hard to believe that it's September already.
Summer's over, baby.
Yeah, summer is officially dead. Dead on arrival. It's done. It's gone. I guess that wouldn't make sense to be dead on arrival. Anyways, I'm still thinking about Concord.
Oh, that's a burn.
Well, did you see? I mean, we're not going to talk about it in the news or anything because we've already talked about it last week. But did you see where it only sold 25,000 copies?
Yeah, that's what analysts are saying, right?
That's insane. Anyways, my name is Harrison, and I'm joined by my brother Nick. As always, Nick, how are you doing? How was your long weekend?
It was good. Good. I had some decent time outside. Played a little bit of golf. Went to the driving range.
Sweet.
Played 9 holes.
We've got a Top Golf coming like this month, where I live. I can't wait to try it out.
Oh, it's opening up in September.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, nice. So is it? Is it Greensboro?
Greensboro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I love Top Golf, Drive Shack, any of those.
Yeah,
they're great, man.
I mean, I've only ever done the one time when we went for your for the groomsmen thing. That's the first and only time I've done it. So, and it was an absolute blast. Like, so cool.
Yeah, those games they have are pretty cool.
And I guess that's what I thought it was. Like, I thought it was maybe just hitting, which is still fun just to hit. But I didn't realize they had all like the cool like AR games and stuff like that. Like that's pretty awesome.
Blackjack and like the Monsters game. Like they have some pretty cool stuff. Like even if you don't play golf, you'd still have a fun time because you can just hit it off of the barely hit it off of the platform.
You just whack it. You just whack
it. Yeah, you can make something happen. It's very fun.
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah, played some golf and played some video games, relaxed. Did some house cleaning stuff. It was great. It was a great long weekend. It's been a busy month, so it's been a nice relaxing weekend.
Heck yeah.
How about you?
Glad to hear it. Yeah, week was good. I've been battling a last Friday, like I guess 2 Fridays ago now. It was sometime like after 10, like my ear started feeling a little funny. So the next day it was fine. And then Sunday it came up again, and I was like, well, maybe it's like some wax buildup or something. So I put like some wax eardrops in there. Didn't really help. You know, I tried using the little squirt, like the ear squirter thing, and see if I could shoot some warm water in there. That didn't really help. And then I think on Monday it really started to hurt like pretty bad, and I was like, okay, I think I've got an ear infection.
Oh God.
So I went to the doctor, and sure enough, it was an ear infection. The doctor was like, he's like, it's not awful, but it's definitely an infection. And he's like, it's a little strange that a 30-year-old's getting an ear infection, but he's like, it's not unheard of. And I was like, I mean, I got them all the time as a kid. So put me on some amoxicillin. So I'm good to go. Luckily, Kellen had some leftover eardrops, which you use it's eardrops that you use, but it dries up any sort of like moisture in your ear. And then I also had some Flonase as well, and he told to do that once or twice a day to help with the moisture control. But so yeah, that's been fun. Finally, the last couple of days, my ear doesn't feel stopped up anymore. It's kind of back to normal. So just got a couple of days left of the amoxicillin, and then I should be good to go. But it makes me go to the bathroom a lot without getting too detailed.
Is that a side effect of it?
Yeah, it can give you like diarrhea.
It's almost worse than an ear infection.
Yeah, well, it's not like constant, right? And not to get like too nasty or anything. It's not like a constant like need, but every time I do need to go, it's usually
that. Dang.
So yeah, but it's all good. Other than that, just been playing some video games. Took Kellen over to the mall today, just to get out of the house. Figure something to do. Didn't really get anything. We got some ice cream. So yeah, it was a good weekend. Good weekend.
Nice.
Well, do you want to dive into what we've been playing?
I do. Harrison, I've got to hear your final thoughts on Black Myth Wukong. You've been hyping it up.
I did text you, what, was it yesterday or Saturday? I think it was
Yeah.
Saturday. Um, yeah, this Black Myth Wukong is it does have issues. But, like, to me, like, in the last 5, 6 years, like, it's been Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom has been incredible. Um, and I'm gonna put this on par with maybe not it may be recency bias, so I'm not gonna put it above them or anything like that because I think that's crazy talk. But I think it can stand on the pedestal. Like, if it was
Wow.
maybe Elden Ring number 1, the gold, Tears is silver, and, Wukong is a close bronze. But man, it is an incredible experience through and through. They did just recently have an update where they patched chapter 3, which is like the snowy region, which I was having
Mhm.
horrible frame rate. They did fix that, so I don't know how well it runs. I've been back to that area, but I haven't fought any bosses really. But it seems to run better. Um, although there's a couple of bosses towards the end of the game where the frame rate did still drop. So it's definitely got its
Okay.
flaws. Um, but the last couple of bosses in this game are pretty awesome. They're pretty excellent boss
Like a
fight.
cool spectacle.
Very cool spectacle. And I would put it on. It was again recency bias, and all that stuff. But I mean, I would put it on like a level of like maybe like a Millennia type of fight or
Wow.
one of like the
Okay.
well, I wouldn't say it's as hard as Radon, um, but it's pretty up there. Like, it's pretty up there to where I didn't mess with, because the cool thing about the game, it's got a skill tree.
Mhm.
At any point in time, you can respec. So there's no, yeah, so you just hold triangle or whatever, and it'll give you all your points back, and you can do that as many times as you want. So that's
That's
super cool.
nice.
So I stopped. I had to switch up a build because what I had just was not working. Um, so I ended up uh, changing my build up, leveled up a little bit, um, and beat the secret boss to get the true ending last night. I was probably stuck on that boss for a couple of hours, and I was trying to beat the final boss first for like an hour or so, and then I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
I got to level up, and I was like level 90 or something. Um,
Wow.
which I don't know what the cap is. I think it might be 200, but there is like a new game plus that you can immediately jump into if you want to. Um, but yeah, it's quite good.
How long is Black Myth?
I clocked in at 37 hours, and
30.
I've done yeah, and I've done. I think I'm missing one boss, and I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Because
Mhm.
it like it'll whenever you beat an enemy or meet a character, it'll have like their the details about them and like their picture and stuff like that, their portrait. So I'm missing, and it tells you like 59 out of 60 or 24 out of whatever. So I'm missing one boss, I think. So I'm gonna have to go back and check on that and see which one I missed. It was probably something like pretty simple
Yeah.
because there's bosses kind of scattered all over the place, and they're pretty missable if you don't actually explore and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I ended up hitting and that's when I texted you because I hit chapter 6 and a couple of complaints I had last week was there's no mount. Like there's gonna be some areas where I wish you got a mount. And I'm not gonna spoil it because I think the mount is super awesome, but you get a mount.
A mount that you can use on the other chapters if you're
You
to go
cannot
back?
it's chapter exclusive and it gives you like a story reason why it's
Okay.
exclusive to this specific area. Um, but basically this whole chapter it is the biggest open portion of the game. Like it's completely open world pretty much, or open zone I would say. um but it's pretty bare bones as far as like there's no chests, there's no collectibles or anything like that
Mhm.
defined in this specific area. It's just kind of a giant
Like a
grassy field.
desolate, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But the whole point of this specific area is you're trying to gather an armor set for the end game. So that's what you're kind of doing in this area. But it's really cool. It's quite different than all the other chapters.
Mhm.
There's not much exploring. You're not going into caves and stuff like that. Although there is a cave, but it's story based. So you're not doing that type of exploration, but just being able to roam pretty freely is kind of a welcome change, or welcome pace to the
Yeah.
game. So yeah, it's pretty good, man. You need to play it.
I know, I know.
I don't know why don't you want to play it? What are we doing?
Okay, well, I'm thinking about the time commitment. It's like, okay, it's a long game, and then there's Astrobot coming out, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
Plucky Squire, and then Zelda. I just don't know. Like, and the thing is, I feel like I have a lot of games that I haven't finished,
yeah. That's true.
but I know I would like this one enough to probably to want to play it through.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'm just having trouble. I did. They don't have a physical version, do they?
they do not,
Okay, I was
which is
looking for it because I was in
yeah,
Target this weekend. So I would have picked it up if I
if it
would
was
have seen
there.
a physical version.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do a physical version. I'm not sure if they're going to do one, and maybe whenever which it's not in our news, but apparently, according to IGN, there was a timed exclusive deal for this game that was in Seeker, which is bullshit, I think.
There's a lot
Um,
of there's a lot of hearsay about it.
yeah,
That
this game has
I
been
don't know what's
like, I don't know,
true.
man.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what the truth is, whether it's actually issues with the Xbox version or if there's an exclusivity deal with PlayStation.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know.
why won't you just come out and say it? Like, I don't think it would have been that a bit. Some people would have been mad, but I mean, it literally happens all the time with these times exclusives. So I don't see why this particular game is any different than the others. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's neither here or there. But yeah, I think it's an incredible game. For people that saying that it's not a Souls like, I do think they're wrong. Although, like, at this point in time, like a lot of people, like, every 3D action RPG is like considered a Souls like, when
Yeah.
it's maybe not. Or but it definitely, like I said, it definitely has aspects of that stuff. I would say it's a good blend of, like, God of War and a Souls game. Like, it's got like the hack and slash,
Mhm.
gameplay of the newer God of War games. But then it does have the Souls like stuff of, you're saving at a bonfire or whatever. Um, and enemies respawn when you kill them, stuff like that. So it's a good blend. And it's not nearly as I would say, like, the enemies are not near, like, the basic enemies, like, I they really won't kill you. Like, I don't think I died maybe to one single. I probably did, but I can't remember. Like, in,
Are they like
Dark
fodder?
Souls, like, they kill you all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Um, yeah, they're more so of, like, they're a fodder. I mean, there are some challenging enemies, but basic enemies, but it's really all about the bosses here. And again, I wouldn't say it's a boss rush game. There is definitely a lot of exploration if you want to do it. Now, if you don't do the exploration, yeah, you're going to fight a boss every 10 minutes because
Okay.
you're just running through everything. But if you explore like you should be doing, like a traditional Souls game, or just, a 3D action game in general, if there is exploration options, you're gonna spend a lot of time just finding chests and stuff like that,
Mhm.
which I love that type of stuff. But again, if you just want to mainline the story, yeah, you're gonna be fighting the boss pretty quickly. So
Okay. So I guess
maybe that's
it
what
really just depends
reviewers
on
were doing and kind of saying about the boss rush aspect. Um,
I feel like review scores are very hard when you get a game pre-release and you have you have a time limit essentially to get the review out because of course everyone wants to get a review out on the embargo date.
yeah.
I feel like that taints a lot of people's experience with games.
Well, yeah, and now every game is like, yeah, they're theoretically done, but, like, every game has a day one patch. So
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
can't
mean that's
imagine
a
how bad this game ran prior to day one. I don't. I mean, and maybe it didn't. Maybe it was on par with the PlayStation version I'm playing. Who knows? But yeah, when you gotta, yeah, and I feel like if you're gonna send out review copies, like, you need to send them out like 2 weeks at minimum in advance, because
yeah. I would say minimum depending on the length of your game.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have someone, and I mean, reviewers have talked about this openly, like when you only have 3 or 4 days to beat a game, like that creates a negative experience, I think, for people because they have to rush. And if it's a frustrating boss, or because you're a reviewer and you don't have the internet to help you find
Oh
things, like
yeah,
it can be very frustrating. And I know they send reviewers like notes and stuff like that, so I'm aware of that kind of aspect of it. But still, like you're not going to have, you can't just go on YouTube and type in how to beat blah blah blah, or where to
what's the
find
best
blah blah
build for
blah.
this? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What's the best build for this? Exactly. Um, and then also the flip side of that is I've seen a lot of reviewers where they don't beat the game, or they only do they only do the main mission, main story, and it's like, well, you're not really reviewing the whole game as as a whole, right?
mhm.
So that could be a little frustrating because I did see one um, review that was like, yeah, we didn't even finish the game, blah blah blah. It's like you gotta at least beat the story before you can. I mean, that's like trying to review a movie and only watching half of it.
Unless it was that bad that you had to leave, but yeah, I
I would
mean,
also argue that it's your job and you should just do it, like and just. I mean, if people can review Gollum or whatever and make it through that garbage, it's like,
right.
come on, it's like you can.
Like even if you know you're going to give it a 2 or a 3 or a 4 halfway through, you got to see it out. I mean, just like you got to finish the movie to
And then
review it.
also if it's like a, I know a lot of people when we talk about Souls game like skill issue and get good, but it's like if you're reviewing something that's Souls esque that's going to be hard, maybe give it to somebody that enjoys those games. So that way they can give a proper review. I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation, but um,
Right.
yeah, back to Wukong. It's a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm already kind of like missing it because I want to just go back in there and play some more. But I think I did like all the side missions that I could do. Like I just couldn't get enough of this game.
You've been in it.
Yeah, yeah, I've been in it, and I've
Well,
been pretty good about like trying to do everything before I move on. But I mean,
mhm,
they're just like a Souls game. There are quests that will you talk to one character and then you may not see him for 2 chapters and then you see him again and then something happens and you find him in the last chapter, whatever the case is. So there's
yeah.
definitely those types of things as well. So yeah, it's it's good,
So
man.
is this your game of the year so
So
far?
far, so far it is. And I
Wow.
and I know Elden Ring's, the DLC, and that's kind of up in the air about are we going to include it in our game of the year conversation? Because I don't know if we've had DLC ever in the mix, when we talked about, but also like
It's
there's
never been a
nothing been
DLC.
like, Shadow of the Erd Tree. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards, and again, recency bias, I understand that. I'm leaning more towards Wukong because it's a new thing versus, Shadow of the Erd Tree. Incredible experience, one of
But
the
it's
best pieces of DLC of all time, but it's still Elden Ring,
known
right?
quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I highly recommend it. Yep.
Just in the top echelon of games. Just
Yeah,
a
and again, like I talked about it last week with like the when there was a couple of different um oh geez, the like second phase and third phase of some boss fights. I talked about the one last week how there was 3 phases and it saved each time and let
mhm.
me come back into that, which is really nice. The final boss fight is 4 phases,
God.
but you beat the first 2 phases. There's a state there. If you die, there's a bonfire right there, and then the boss is literally waiting for you, so you can immediately hop out, and respect, do what you got to do, go do another, go level up. Um, yeah. So it's
Man,
very
I love that.
friendly in that regard. And there's
Yeah.
not like I think there's only 3 or 4. There's a lot of boss. There's like 80 bosses in this game. Um, I think only 4 or 5 maybe. There's quite a few that have second phases, but only 4 or 5 have like a second health bar, second phase kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's pretty forgiving, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 4 or 5 out of 80, that's not too bad.
Mm-mm.
And especially if they're manageable. as
Yeah,
well.
very very much so. And like the one of those is the 3-phase boss fight that I talked about last week, where it saved after each phase. So it was like super super friendly in
Yeah.
that regard. So yeah, I think it's a very, and I'm not very good at Souls games. I love them. They're one of my favorite games, but I'm not very good at them. I managed to squeeze by barely on most of them. Um,
Just roll through it, man.
and this one, they're like the last couple of bosses were very very challenging, and I did like barely scrape by on a couple of them. But
Mhm.
once I found the build that I liked, um, at least for the last boss, I fought him a few times after I respeced and found the build, and I got him down pretty low each time. And I was like, okay,
You could
I can
feel
feel
it.
like
Yeah.
I'm yeah. And I'm gonna post it on TikTok, so and I'm gonna put a warning on it too. Um, but in the entering or in the second phase of the final boss, and again I'm staying spoiler free, there's something that happens, and it's the most disrespectful thing that a boss fight has ever done to me in general. And it is, I mean, it's gonna happen to everybody that plays the game, but
Okay, so it's
uh,
scripted. Okay.
it's a scripted thing that happens, but it is so disrespectful that I was like, "Are you serious?" And it just made me crack out laughing because it was so
Trying to
funny.
imagine what it could be.
Yeah,
Is
it's
there are there, like, fog doors for bosses?
no, but you can either see them or you know, like
You
it's
know it's
coming
an
up.
area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think every boss fight has a I'm gonna say bonfire, but just so people know for the Souls community, but it's right outside the door or the arena. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's only maybe a couple of times where you have to have like a minute run back or something. So again, it's
And
super
that's not
friendly with that
bad.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and then very quickly, and then I'll let you talk, Nick. I finished up chapter 1, 2, and 3 of Emio. Loved it so much that I bought the game. I went to Target, or no, I went to GameStop on Friday. I haven't played any more yet, so I don't have much to say other than the first 3 chapters because I've just been
Wow, but
so
the
engrossed
memo
in
brought you
Black
in.
Myth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, every night, like I did chapter one night, chapter two one night, and then three. I'm really enjoying it. It's like such a very just relaxing experience. I mean, obviously this is about some kid getting murdered, so like what does it say about me? But it's a very relaxing kind of game. Um, that's different. Like I don't think I've ever played a game like this before. Like other than like maybe like Carmen San Diego back on the PC, like when I was like 8 or 9 years old. The visual novel stuff. So it's very cool. Like I like it. Again, it's super easy. You're just clicking stuff on the screen, but the story is intriguing so far. I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, like you're Emio, like that. I'm already like kind of trying to piece stuff together from what I've played so far. So
Do you think it gets better as the demo goes along? Because I've still only played the first chapter, but I wanna
yeah,
do the other
uh,
ones.
it does. It starts very very slow in
Mhm.
chapter one, but once two and three hits, you start getting the backstory of the lady cop or the lady investigator.
Yeah, yep.
And you learn that like her brother went missing right around the time that the original murders happened like 18 years ago. So you're like, okay, is the brother maybe the killer? Like it's kind of weird. And then you learn
Mhm.
like what happened, why he went missing. Um, yeah, I'm liking it. Pretty intriguing so far.
Wow. So this demo was like a home run then for Nintendo because it got someone who probably wouldn't have been interested in it otherwise
No, and I
invested.
may have just picked it up just because it's like a unique Nintendo thing, and I have a habit of wanting to collect Nintendo stuff. But yeah, I think they really like nailed the marketing with this whole thing with just the 15
Mhm.
second little teaser of like, okay, what is this rated M game that Nintendo's publishing? Like this is
Right.
so out of
Some sort of horror
pocket of them to
game.
do this, like a horror game. And then they revealed it, and we're like, okay, like that's cool. Like, and a lot of people probably are just like, like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm not interested. But
Yeah.
yeah, this little like this little demo they put out through the three chapters. Like, I thought it was brilliant marketing. I thought it was great. And like you said, like I would have never been interested in something like this, but since it was free to try, here I am
Why
picking it
not?
up. And I
Is
went
this
and I went to GameStop and I got the last copy. I don't know how many copies they got in the store, so that may not be a lot. They may not have purchased a lot, but I
Mhm.
got the last one, so I thought that was funny.
Is it full price? Is it $60?
It's $50.
50. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's
So
like
it's a
the
budget.
budget tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have more to say about it next week, but yeah, I I I like the 3 chapters I played.
Nice. Nice.
All right, Nick, what have you been playing? You've been playing some
I've
peak Metroidvania-ness.
I have, man. I've been just enthralled in Castlevania. So the DS collection came out last week, and I've never played any Castlevania game before, so I have
Same,
no
same here.
experience with this franchise. I've heard it has a lot of great games. Obviously, it makes up half of Metroidvania, so it's got to have
Yeah.
some good to it. Um, Picked up the DS collection, started with Dawn of Sorrow, which is a sequel to Area of Sorrow on the GBA, and this game is freaking great. I finished it. It's like kind of like an RPG. Like you level up, traverse this huge map, you defeat bosses, get their abilities, and you can unlock new areas like a Metroidvania.
Hey, it's in the name.
Like a Castlevania. Um, but like the cool kind of hook to this game is that each enemy, and I think there are something around 100 enemies in the game, but
Oh,
each
wow.
enemy has its own like soul. Like it'll randomly drop a soul, and then you can equip it, and then you can use its ability. Like you can do
Interesting.
like a lightning blast, or you can throw a hammer, or you can throw an axe, shoot a fireball, that kind of stuff.
Well,
Um,
it's a lot like Wukong.
is it? Oh yeah, I guess it's kind
Yeah,
of like that where you kind of
because
take on their
you
form.
get their spirits, and then you can transform into them.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like that. Um, but the drops are completely random, right? So you
Okay.
can, maybe I on multiple occasions have spent around 30 minutes grinding an enemy just to get their
I was gonna
soul.
ask if they respawn.
Yeah, they respawn when you exit and
Okay.
enter a room again.
That's
But then
interesting. Okay.
you can also use those souls, like instead of equipping them and using them as items, you can fuse them with your weapons and create, more powerful weapons. So that's kind of like where the grinding comes into place is like, okay, I want to upgrade my axe. I need to get this specific soul from a specific enemy, and their drop rate is like 1%. So then
Sounds like very Monster Hunter-esque.
yeah, a little bit. And it's you don't have to do what I did where you like grind enemies. Like I was just doing it because I was following kind of this one weapon path through a series of
Okay.
upgrades, and I ended up like getting the golden axe, and I probably killed one enemy 50 to 60 times just
Oh,
trying
wow.
to get them to drop the soul. But outside of that, like that section or that sector of the game, it's a very cool like it's a decent story, but the gameplay is great. The gameplay is it's pretty phenomenal. The weapons you have, you get like 20 something different types of weapons, and then you have like the souls on top of that. Then you have, you know, all of your equipment, all of your armor, hats, that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's like an RPG. Like it's very cool. Like there's a bunch of different ways to go at the game, to play the game. Um, and it's,
Is Dawn of Sorrow, is that the first one on the
yeah, that's the first one
Okay.
on the DS.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, it's like around, I think I put like 12 hours into it, something like that. So
Oh, wow. So it's not
it's on the shorter side, not super long.
that's minus, like, although that's adding, like, all the grinding you did too.
Adding all the grinding, it doesn't include all of the times I've died
Okay.
to bosses and like reloaded from save states because there are like save states in the game. Kind of like with like the NES online stuff.
If you didn't have the save states, would it be more annoying to play?
I think so.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's how, like, Metroid Fusion was for me. Like, there were some
Oh
parts of
yeah.
that game where I'm like, "If I didn't save here, I would have had to backtrack a lot, and I wouldn't have liked that."
I remember playing that on the 3DS and getting pretty frustrated at the
Yeah.
at the save spots. But
Okay.
yeah, this game I think is definitely improved
Love
from
that.
the
Love that.
save states. The like the save rooms, they're not too far apart, and it's the map's kind of like a Metroidvania style. Man, I sound so dumb saying Metroidvania and it's a Castlevania, but like it's all like one like connected map,
Yeah.
so you can jump around pretty easily from save
Is
point to
there
save point.
fast travel at all?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. There's
Very cool.
warp rooms as well that
Okay.
you can fast travel between. So for a 2005
They're pretty up there.
game,
That's pretty
yeah, it's
ahead of its
pretty
time.
streamlined. Yeah,
'Cause, like, Metroid Fusion didn't have that when I played. Um,
no, it didn't.
and Dread had what's like warp points, but that was like you unlocked that pretty late in the game, I think.
Right, and I don't know if you can choose which one you went to. Right,
I think you well,
maybe you could.
no, because I think it was like whatever one you went to, there was a connecting point, so you would have to figure out which one it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that's
think
why I
there
got
was.
Dread was like a masterpiece in my opinion, but like that was probably like my most frustrating part of that one was
Yeah,
it
that
got a
and the
little
loading.
confusing to get around the map.
Mhm. Yeah, there were so many areas in that game. Um, but
Do
Dawn
you
of
think
Sorrow is really great.
do you think this opens up more opportunities for other DS ports to the Switch? Because like a lot of people are like, well, how are they going to do it with the two screen thing? And it's like, well, just make it horizontal and it works. And
It
how is that? Is there enough real estate on the screen to fit
Oh, yeah.
everything?
I mean,
Like so you have a
there's still more room than a DS would have.
right, yeah.
So, there's a lot of I mean, it takes, took me, 5 minutes to get used to it, right? Because you kinda have to, change your gaze to the left a little bit and
Yeah.
look on the left side of the screen, but I would say
Can you move and change the aspect ratio of the other screens, or is it just locked in?
don't think so.
Okay,
The only
okay,
thing you can do is there's, there's the game on the left side, and then there's a map on the top right, and your inventory on the bottom right. You can swap those two up
okay,
and down, but I don't know if you can change the aspect ratio of any of the screens.
okay, okay.
But
Just curious.
yeah, it wasn't by no means a deal breaker. It wasn't even a negative in my opinion. I think it's
Yeah.
just cool that they were able to, you know, bring a DS
I mean,
game over.
we're
I
kind
think
of used to that with like the NSO stuff. Like all that stuff is, you know, already condensed. It's not the
yeah,
full
shrunk down a
screen,
little
so
bit.
that's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think it does. I really think it does open up the floodgates a little bit for more DS games to come
Okay.
because that this in this game there's kind of like a shoehorned in touchscreen gimmick to it where after you defeat a boss or to defeat a boss you have to draw like a pentagram type thing in a different
Yeah.
order. It was weird and it's kind of annoying because if you don't draw it right you have to fight the boss a little bit longer and then it pops
Oh,
up
that sucks.
again.
Save
But
states.
yeah, but it gives you the option to do button inputs for each of
Oh,
the
okay. That's
different
cool.
points
I
rather
always
than
forget that the
screen.
Switch is. I mean, I use it periodically, but like I always forget that the Switch is touchscreen.
Yeah, it's a pretty good touchscreen too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I was thinking what other DS games I feel like there's a pretty big library of really good DS games that could
I mean, like
transition well to the
let's
Switch.
get Zelda Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. I mean, they're not like the greatest Zelda games, you know, by any means, but like, come on, bring them over.
And just change the gameplay so you control Link
That
with your
would
stick.
be pretty. Yeah, that's one where they would have to do some pretty significant updates too. But I don't know. Maybe that one would need like a full on like remake or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, what else? Like I'm trying to think of like the DS stuff. I'm not.
DS is kind of a weird era. I feel like I played my DS a lot, but I spent a lot of my time playing GBA games on my DS.
Like I wouldn't mind if maybe they ported over like I mean if they're not going to give us an Ocarina of Time remake or um Majora's Mask like port the 3DS versions over and just have a good screen for you know the gameplay and then have the other one for the map. Like I think that could work.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list of best DS games.
I don't know if I mean, I had a DS, but like,
Yeah, did you play a DS a lot?
I can't remember playing DS like a ton.
See, I mean, it's kind of a weird list, but number one
Like
is,
best DS games or something.
yeah, Mario Kart. I could bring that. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if the DS is like a ton of like really, really, really reputable games that you could bring
Yeah.
over. I mean, Chrono Trigger had a remake on there. Chinatown Wars.
Ooh, gosh, yeah, Chinatown Wars that was on DS and mobile, I think, because it was on I had it on iPhone, I think.
Yeah,
They need to bring that game is excellent.
they
That was
should.
like
Yeah, they
back to
should
the
bring that over
original
to
like top
the Switch.
down GTA. Okay, that would be a great port. Yeah, and
The
like
Mario and
Chrono
Luigi
Trigger,
games already
like
got
'cause
remade.
you never played Chrono Trigger, have you? I think we talked about it
Mm-mm.
before. Yeah, that game is great.
I'd love to play it. I would love to play it. If it
Yeah.
came to modern
I
consoles.
did pre-order the Final Fantasy physical that's coming later on this year.
Which Final Fantasy?
Like the original like 6.
Oh,
Because I think it was only
nice.
available in Asia and digitally. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, what was it talking about? Dawn of
Uh,
Sorrow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just I mean, we were talking about like DS ports that they could bring over now that it seems like they figured it out.
I don't know. I'm just glad. I'm glad Konami brought these over. I would love to see a new Castlevania game, either
Yeah,
made by Konami. I know there's Bloodstained, which is
it's
made.
the original creator, but it's yeah.
Yeah, and I might pick that up once it's on sale. I know it goes on sale pretty frequently.
I think there's 2, right? Bloodstain and then Bloodstain 2 or something maybe, or
There's Bloodstained, and then there's I think there's Curse of the
Curse of the
Moon,
Moon.
which is
Yeah.
like a demake, not demake, but like a retro style game, and then Curse of the Moon 2.
Okay.
Both of those are like NES style games.
I'm honestly, now that we're talking about Castlevania, I'm surprised that we haven't had Symphony of the Night. Like that's like the most highly regarded Castlevania games. Like where is that?
I think
And when and yeah, we need like either a remaster or I mean, honestly, I would kind of just prefer a remaster. Like bring it up to like 2024 kind of standards. But I mean, obviously that pixel art style is just some of my favorite like
yeah.
old
I mean,
school
maybe
Zelda
that's what they're
games.
doing. Maybe
Yeah.
they're working on a
Just I'm surprised. I mean, like
remake.
we're in the 8th year of the Switch, and we haven't had that like on the one of the best selling systems of all time, and it's a hybrid. Like it just makes perfect sense. But also like Konami. I mean, after Kojima left, I mean, I know it's not necessarily to do with Kojima, but after like Kojima left, like they were in a weird spot for a couple of years. We got like that weird Metal Gear game, and then
Yeah,
they just didn't do a lot. But now I feel like we're there. They've gotten past the pachinko machines and they're back to gaming
back
now.
to dipping in their IP,
Yeah.
actually creating some games.
So,
Mostly remakes and ports at this point, but
but
yeah,
they've got a lot of good. I mean, Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid Delta's coming out.
yeah,
So they got some good stuff. They just gotta get it out there.
I know. But yeah, I finished up Dawn of Sorrow, and then I'm like an hour and a half into Order of Ecclesia, which
Okay,
is it's a lot different because it's broken out into separate areas on a world map. I think there are
interesting.
like 20 something areas in total. Um, and then
So it's
this
like
game
bite
doesn't have,
sized. Like
yeah, like bite-sized levels almost that you can, travel pretty freely between, but definitely a different style of game. I think this was pretty highly regarded too,
okay,
but this one doesn't have the souls aspect of the game. It has glyphs, which kind of a similar thing. Like each enemy can drop. I think each enemy can drop a glyph, and it just gives you like a spear or an axe or a
yeah.
weapon. Like it gives you some sort of weapon or power that you can do. So it's kind of a similar concept.
Are these all one story? Is it a trilogy
No, it's
or is it just a collection?
they're all different games. They're all
Okay,
different
they're
stories.
just the 3 ones that were on the DS.
Yeah, I mean, Dawn
Okay.
of Sorrow was a sequel to the GBA, one of the GBA ones, but
Oh,
the other 2 DS
okay.
ones, I think, are standalone stories.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, very, very weird.
I feel
Um,
like, and maybe it could just because they're so old. I feel like Metroid and Castlevania. Like I'm so confused on what because there's been remakes and they're named differently and remasters. And it's like it's hard to keep up with the timeline if there that there is one.
of
Obviously, there is
Castlevania?
for Metroid, but well, I'm talking about, like, just if we're talking about Castlevania and Metroid, like, even with Metroid, they've had so many remakes and remasters of, like,
Yeah.
the old NES games and SNES games, it's like,
It's like, what's a
"Alright,
new
like,
game and what's not?
what's the new one? What's the chronological order so I can play these right?" I'm so confused.
I was trying to look into Castlevania's order of games, and I was just getting confused. There's 3D games on, like, the PlayStation 2
I
and
did play the
360.
N64 version of Castlevania 64.
Uh-huh.
I would be curious to go back and play that, but it was pretty
Pretty
bad. I
bad.
think it was made on the Zelda engine, potentially. Um,
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong about that, but, I'm probably wrong about that, but, uh, yeah, I remember it looking bad, like, back then, and that was when I was playing, like, Zelda and stuff, so I don't know.
yeah.
I played that with
The
dad, oddly enough.
You did?
Mhm.
That
We
sounds
we played
interesting.
that, and we played, Rogue Squad the Star Wars game, Rogue Squadron.
Oh, okay. It kinda looks like Zelda, I'm not gonna lie.
What?
I'm just looking at screenshots of Castlevania 64. Like,
Oh, okay,
the textures
maybe
kind of look like.
I mean,
Is
maybe it
it does it
is.
use the same targeting system as well?
I think it does have the Z targeting or, like, something very, very similar. We didn't get very far in the game because I think it was, like, relatively hard for, for a seven-year-old.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
Huh.
ugly ass 64 graphics, but
Man, that
it
those
does look
graphics
a lot
do
like
not age
Zelda.
well. It really
No.
does. Hmm.
Although something about Ocarina and Majora's Mask, and that's just obviously very nostalgic and, of course, biased for me, but for some reason, I know it's ugly and the textures aren't great, but it still looks good to me.
I think those hold up the best. Like,
Yeah.
you can see the
Like that and,
vision.
like, Mario 64. Like, Mario
Mhm.
64, I still think holds up as a gameplay. Like, I still
Oh, yeah,
think
the
it
gameplay definitely
holds
holds
pretty
up.
good.
And I think the
It's not
graphics hold up.
great, but, it's holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see here.
so is it or the second one on the collection, is it you said it's pretty different than the first one?
Yeah, yeah, and I think this might be the 3rd one. I think the 2nd one has 2 characters that you play as, and you can, like,
Okay.
swap between actively. I don't know when I'll get to that one. I do wanna, like, try to finish up Order of Ecclesia before Astrobot comes out,
Yeah.
but, yeah, I'm only, like, an hour and a half in.
Cool.
Um, and then just really quick, I today I played, the Black Ops 6 beta for, like, an hour and a
Yeah.
half.
I've got
Played
it
more.
downloaded, so I'll play it probably
I
tomorrow, I
think it
imagine.
goes until Wednesday,
Oh, okay. So,
the
yeah, I didn't
beta.
play it tomorrow.
Yeah. It's really fun. I really, really love the omnidirectional movement,
I've
sprinting in any
seen
direction.
videos of this thing, and
It's kinda crazy.
it's gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of, like, TikTok clips of people just saying the most diabolical, disrespectful things into people's ears whenever they grab them
Oh,
from behind.
when they grab. I was not grabbed by anyone, and I did not do any grabbing either. It I think it's hard to do because everyone's moving around so fast and jumping
Yeah.
around and
And
sprinting and
for
diving.
context that people that don't know, this is, like, I guess, a new mechanic in Call of Duty, but you can grab somebody from behind, but voice chat turns on for both players of opposite teams. So you can
Pretty
as
funny.
long as you're holding them, you can whisper into their ear. So I've heard clips of someone say, like, "This isn't my gun that's on your back," or something like that. Just it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
It's gonna be so racist, and, like, it's gonna be
well,
crazy. Welcome to
I
360.
to that, they do say that that voice chat or anything said in voice chat is recorded on Activision's
Of
end.
course, yeah.
So
I mean, people. I'm sure people are going to get banned and reported like crazy.
yeah.
But
But the actual gameplay, like the diving to the ground and being able to look in all directions and being able to sprint backwards and sideways, that stuff is cool. It's very
can you?
frenetic.
I've seen like clips, and I'm not sure if this is real or not, but like people are like doing like spins and stuff like in the air too. Or does it just
Yeah,
look that way because you can like change at like any point in time while you're jumping?
I don't know how that would look from the person who's doing its perspective, but I would imagine you would just dive and then you would like like look around 360.
Because I saw one comment, like I saw one comment on this clip I was watching, and they're like, okay, just give him ODM gear from Attack on Titan, and it's basically that.
All
Like
the
they were
day.
just doing this crazy movement, but it looks like a lot of fun. Like I can't wait to jump in.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun like diving off of buildings and then turning around and looking the other way
Yeah.
midair and shooting on the way down. It feels pretty like pretty badass.
How does
With
it
those moments.
feel? I mean, we know that kill streaks are back in the game, or not kill streaks, but like
It's like score streaks.
is it score streaks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
But it's like
Um,
similar to Black Ops 3.
how's the because really stopped playing after like Black Ops 2 maybe. But that's when they I think either near that time or right after, like maybe it was like Black Ops 3 or like whatever the next Modern Warfare or whatever it was. But they took away they did like the 10 I can't remember what they called it, but it was like the 10 system, like the 10 gun system where you could only
Pick 10.
equip 10 like pick 10. Um so it was like it felt very limiting versus like Modern Warfare 4, where you could kind of like really get the build that you were, whatever that you wanted.
Yeah. They don't have that.
Okay, good.
Instead, I think with your primary weapon, you can have like 5 attachments,
Okay.
which I think is even more than you could have in like Modern Warfare 2 or 3. Because pick 10 included like your secondary
It was
and
like it was your primary
just
weapon
everything,
with attachments, secondary attachments, and then like,
like your
you know,
grenades and stuff.
yeah, grenades, and then also it included I think like your abilities like um I don't know,
Oh
being
yeah,
able to like the little perks or whatever, you can move
yeah, your
faster,
perks.
stuff like that. So like I didn't like that. I didn't it felt very limiting when I played that back in the day, but so I'm glad that that's gone.
Yeah,
Is there
this one
still like perks and stuff too?
still perks,
Okay.
still like the 3 option or 3 perk slots.
Okay.
Uh, Still score streaks. I think the ones that saw like RC car, UAV,
Sweet.
like attack helicopter. I think there were only like 6 in the beta. Um, but it almost like it feels like a really cool mix of like modern gameplay and then old school Call of Duty. But
Then leveling up, you get new weapons and stuff like traditionally as you do.
you level
Okay.
up and get weapons, and then you can level up your weapon to
Okay.
unlock new attachments, silencers, red dot sights, ACOG, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So it's the progression is very similar to
Okay.
Modern Warfare
I might
2.
I'm gonna I'll check it out tomorrow. But yeah, this might be something I add to my rotation. It
That being
sounds like a lot
said,
of fun.
it is very sweaty,
Of course,
you
of
know,
course.
of course.
I mean, it's sweaty in Fortnite. Like,
Yeah, I mean
I'm like,
every
bro,
every
go to
every
ranked.
online multiplayer game is going to be sweaty
Yeah,
regardless of what you're playing. But
yeah.
I had a lot
I
of
can't
fun.
wait to see all the clips and it's just gonna be so fun. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
I feel like I had another question. Oh, skins are there crazy skins right now, or is it just kind of the basic stuff? I'm assuming not since it's a beta.
There are some like zombie type skins that
Okay.
I've seen a lot, like electrified zombie type stuff. I'm assuming there's gonna be a lot of really crazy skins when the
Yeah.
actual game comes out.
I kind of
But
hope they do. Like that's one thing I like why I like Fortnite so much is because like yeah, the gameplay is fun, but like it's fun if you find like a character or like a something that you really like, you're like, all right, whatever, I'll pay $10 or whatever
mhm,
for the skin and the emotes and stuff like that. So, and I know Call of Duty has done stuff in the past, but it's like weird stuff like Nicki Minaj, and I think they had what are the famous smokers? The two smoker guys. Didn't they have their skins in there too?
Smoker guys.
Oh my gosh, the two famous.
Snoop Dogg.
No, it was I think Snoop Dogg. He might actually be in the game. I think he does. I think he'd had like a voice pack or something.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But
What do they
anyways,
do?
honestly, I don't know. I just know they're very famous. They're like a duo that's very famous for smoking.
Hmm.
Um,
No
oh
idea.
my god,
No idea.
hold on. I got to look up famous
Two famous smokers.
smoker duos.
Harold and Kumar.
No, it's real. It's like a real
It's
people.
real people.
Cheech and Chong.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think they're in that game. I could be wrong, but I feel like I saw. And I think
Huh.
they had like a Gundam collaboration. This is Warzone, I think. So they had like a Gundam collaboration in there. Some interesting stuff. So.
Does Black Ops 6 have Warzone? Or is Warzone its own thing?
Warzone is so. I think if you and I think they did it like Halo, so like you download one Call of Duty app and
Yeah.
then you can pick and choose
can
what you
choose.
want. So it's a part of that app. But yeah, it is separated. Now I think they with each new game they add stuff into Warzone based off of those whatever the new Call of Duty game is. But it is
Mhm.
separate, which I really could care less about Warzone, so I'll let that be. But
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm saying it's completely separate. Because the main modes in Black Ops 6 are zombies, the campaign, and then just
like team
traditional
deathmatch and
multiplayer.
domination and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I'd imagine. Search and Destroy in there, was that in the beta?
I didn't play any Search in the
Okay.
beta.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never really cared for Search and Destroy, but it was
I mean,
fun option to have.
Yeah,
That one
fun
was
enough.
way too sweaty. Like it was so sweaty in Search and Destroy.
Playing with Adam was
Oh my god,
very sweaty.
getting gillied up in the suit and with the
I'll do the what is
sniper.
it, the ninja defuse,
Yep.
where you you go behind them while they're planting the bomb and you immediately defuse it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's fun stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I'm haven't been. And again, this could be a Game Pass effect. So,
Mhm.
but I'm everything I've seen though I've liked. So
I think it has a lot of potential, and
okay.
I'm glad they did like that deep dive after the
Yeah,
Xbox
I was
showcase.
not excited at all about that deep dive, but once we watched it, I was like, yeah, this is really
Yeah,
cool.
it's
So
cool stuff.
yeah, sweet.
Nice.
Pizza
All
Tower,
right.
Nick. How's that?
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I have not played a ton of that. I've maybe played an hour. It's a level based, very frantic, frenetic side scroller game where you traverse through the level, you destroy the monolith, and then there's a timer starts and you have to run all the way back through the level.
Oh God.
It
Okay.
it reminds me like it has a lot of it's like very momentum based. It's kind of like Sonic, where you try to get as much momentum as possible, and then
Yeah.
you'll stop suddenly because you'll get hit by an enemy or you'll run into a wall or something. But
Is it as
the
punishing as like a Super Meat Boy?
no.
Okay. Okay.
And the levels are like they're a lot longer than Super Meat Boy.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like an actual. I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but it's like a fully fleshed out level, like a 5 to 10 minute level, and I think there are like 4 or 5 levels per floor, and then there's a boss on each floor. But the visuals of this game it's kind of the star. Like visuals look like a Saturday morning cartoon type
Okay.
of
Yeah.
game, like very very crazy, like very like Cartoon Networky looking game.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like super into the actual gameplay of it, but I'm pretty early on. So
Did you buy this game or is there a demo?
no, I bought it.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard like raving reviews from everyone who had played it on PC earlier this year, saying it was like
So this last Nintendo Direct really did a lot for you.
it did. It was great, man.
Yeah, it was.
It was a
It was
great
good.
direct.
That was a good one.
All right, that's all I've been
Cool.
playing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're gonna jump into the news real quick. There's not a lot going on, but we'll talk about it. Um, before we'll end with the Zelda stuff. I think that's the most interesting. But
Yeah,
the Vision of Mana, the game that just came out, like today or when did it come out?
last week.
It was last week. But yeah, they shut that studio down or are in the process of shutting that down, which is insane to do that. But
Mhm.
I don't know if they were given like any sort of notice, but if it's anything like any other closure around the industry, probably not. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind
kind
of
of a huge bummer.
yeah, that's one that I mean, we've had a lot of studio closures, but not one this like day of shipping a game like that. That is insane, but
Mhm.
it doesn't put
Yeah,
anyone
I mean
past.
that shipping a game should be like such an exciting day. Like you're celebrating, you've got the game into the hands of the public. That's super exciting, and then they're shut down. Like that's
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just so messed up. I think
yeah,
not even
yeah.
giving the studio a
Sucks.
chance, really.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But to end on a happier note, we got another like, and I love these little. Well, honestly, like I've really enjoyed Nintendo. Obviously, the directs are like the bread and butter for us, but like I've really
Mhm.
enjoyed like Nintendo's Twitter drops that they've been doing the last couple years.
It's just a Friday morning Twitter drop.
Because I mean, normally we would get like a full on like a dedicated direct for a game, and we haven't had that in a while. Was Xenoblade the last one that we had a dedicated direct for?
Oh, I think it was. Did Splatoon have its own direct?
It might have.
That might have been the last one because that was
Okay.
after Xenoblade.
Yeah, Splatoon might have been the last one. But yeah, I really like these like little
Actually,
mini
Zelda,
deep dives.
Tears of the
Did Tears
Kingdom
of
had one.
it had its own dedicated direct? No, it just ended with
Well, remember because they had like that whole demo of like Miyamoto on
oh
the Sky
they
Island.
did have like what did they call it a direct? I don't know what they called it,
They might not have called it a direct,
but it
but
was
it was
basically yeah.
yeah, kind of the
Okay,
same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, you're right. It was Tears of the Kingdom. Okay. So yeah, I don't expect we're gonna get one with this one, but I mean we've kind of gotten it with like with the last couple weeks. So
Mhm.
um we finally got our answer. There's dungeons.
There's
That's
dungeons,
awesome.
man. That was
I'm so
a
excited.
great trailer, a great reveal. There's dungeons, there's rifts that have
Yep.
different environments, so that's, like, even better than the shrines of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom,
They
and
call
then
this still world, right? Is
the
what they call
still
it.
world,
Yeah.
yeah. There's Lynels in the game,
Yep. Yep.
very, very cool for a 2D Zelda, and then you get the sword fighter mode, you get the actually attack
Yeah.
enemies with the sword, it's
Very cool.
limited, it
Yeah.
drains, but I'm assuming there's gonna be like an archer mode or
Yeah. I mean, there
something
could
else.
be there could be different modes for that. Um, there's also a hero mode too. That came from I think from PAX. I think someone took a screenshot of
Mhm.
it. But yeah, there wasn't one in Tears of the Kingdom, and a lot of people were upset about that. Like, well, the master mode, I guess, is what they're talking about from Breath of the Wild, but there wasn't like
Yeah.
a harder difficulty in Tears of the Kingdom. So that's cool, and I think you can play it from the get go, so you don't have to beat it. So if you want a challenging experience to start, um, hasn't been confirmed yet, but from what we've seen from PAX, it's all but confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Did you watch any of the videos from PAX?
I watched a couple of or I think I watched one of them going through, like, the 15-minute demo, the first 15 minutes of the game. Looks pretty
Yeah,
cool. Just the way it starts is very I don't know, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm very excited for what this game is gonna be.
yeah. It seems like it's going to be a pretty big deal. I think.
Bigger deal than people are making it out to be,
Yeah.
seems like.
I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be on a game of the year contender. Like if we're talking about specifically about the Game Awards, like I could see
Mhm.
Black Myth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, um, Zelda, and then I don't what else has there been this year? Maybe
Probably
Prince of
Shadow of the
Persia,
Erd
maybe?
Tree.
Yeah, Shadow of the Earth Tree, if they might consider that as like a DLC, like an expansion or like best
What did they
ongoing game or
do
something.
what did they do with, Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk.
Was that best
I think that
ongoing
was
game?
best ongoing game. So they may
Okay.
put that in the category, which is weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe Prince of Persia. Like that game is still incredible, and we're still getting DLC for that story mode DLC
Yeah, yeah.
for that game. So I'm excited to see more of that. But yeah, I think Zelda is really. I mean, obviously we were both very excited when we saw the initial reveal, but I think as they've gone on in the last couple months, revealing the gameplay mechanics stuff like that, I think a lot of people are going to be very excited or are very excited for this game. It looks great.
Yeah. Looks very cool. And then there's the, like, automaton stuff. I think that's one of your, like, equipable items as well, but it's like a little
Yeah.
mechanical robot that has different uses. One of them shot a cannon, another one just blew up. Uh, it looks cool. I mean, there's just a lot of interesting mechanics to this game, and I think it could be a really fun one to replay, given there's, different ways to solve puzzles, different ways to traverse the world. Zelda can jump, like that kind of just changes a 2D Zelda right then and there. It's like being able to jump freely.
Yeah, I mean it's very obviously a lot of inspiration. I mean it's a Zelda game, but obviously
Mhm.
very heavily influenced from Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's done in a very smart way. We're still getting the dungeons, which is incredible. I think that's like the most thing people have missed in the last 8 years since Breath of the Wild came out is like traditional dungeons. So we're getting those back again. Whether or not we can use stuff outside the dungeon and bring it in, is still we still don't 100% know that, but I don't know. I did see someone comment that they're gonna do an all bed run just using the
Yeah, I mean, that'd
beds,
be
dude.
cool.
Like, yeah, I think replayability is gonna be very good for this game. Um, Maybe more so than ever from like the older like 2D games where they're replayable, but yeah, you beat it the same way. So this one, there seems like there's a lot of different options to complete the game.
Yeah. So,
So
okay, question for you. The end of the trailer has Zelda kind of facing off against a Dark Link
yeah,
or still World Link, something like that. What do you think? Do you think that could lead to you partnering with Link in any capacity?
like
Or
you
is
beat
that
him and then like you knock him out of like the dark mode or whatever, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, like you can summon him or something?
That would be very interesting to summon Link. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Um, maybe, maybe. I
I
mean,
I
I think it's
think there's
confirmed that we
some
play as Link at the very beginning of the game, and then it switches over to Zelda.
mhm.
Um, I still think there could be a possibility where you play as Link at some point in the game, like just kind of like they did with Paper Mario, where you briefly like
Plays
play.
Zelda
Yeah,
or plays, Peach.
yeah. It's Peach and Thousand Year Door. So maybe that's a possibility, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe yeah. Maybe if you beat Dark Link, like you get Dark Link as an enemy or like a frenemy to use. That'd be kind of interesting.
And I think it'd be cool. I know they're not gonna do this, but as a new game plus bonus or reward, being able to play through the game as Link.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, just
Yeah,
reskinned as Link. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be
Man,
really cool.
there's a lot of potential for this game. I'm probably my most anticipated game for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got we're done with Zelda, right? Are we done talking about that?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. We'll get ready to wrap up the show here, but yeah, I mean, we've got Astrobot this week. Um, we've got Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 coming out. I think next week. Which
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna pass on that one, but I'm kind of curious about it just because it looks like it's back to the traditional like Gears of War style, shooter, which is I'm
Yeah, it looks
interested
pretty
in.
interesting.
Plucky Squire comes out on the 17th of September. That game looks to be excellent.
Mhm.
Dead Rising remaster. I'm very curious about that one. I really love the first one, so um, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
Zelda Wrap, I think, ends up last game that we're probably be interested in September. And then we got Silent Hill 2 coming out in October, which from the previews, it sounds like a lot of people have turned around on the game. So that looks like it's going to be hopefully be good. And then I'm very excited for Sparking Zero. That could be in that conversation for me, at least hopefully be a
Uh-huh.
top 5. And then Mario Party comes out October 17th, which I'm still up in the air about that one. I don't know if I'm going to get that one day one.
I don't know if I'll get it day one. I think I'll get it at some point this
Yeah.
year. Yeah. I'll
I mean,
probably
you can
get
never
it
go.
when
You can never go wrong. If you have people to play Mario Party with, you can never go wrong with Mario Party. Even like Super Mario Party was probably still fun for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it wasn't but Superstar, right? That was the latest one.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
Superstars.
that one was great, but that was also like the throwback to the first couple of games, so it was pretty nostalgic in those regards. But
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a lot of
And
stuff
then
look forward to.
Mario and Luigi Brothership, I think
Brothership.
that'll be a day one for me.
I'm not gonna do it. I gotta beat the other Mario
You got a
games that I've
backlog
got.
of Mario games to get
Yeah,
through first.
that's gonna be my goal before that game comes out, because when that comes out in November, right?
Yes.
Okay,
When
so I've got a
November
couple
7th.
months. Okay, I've got a few months to get through that, to get through those games. Yeah, lot of stuff to look forward to. But yeah, Zelda looks incredible.
It looks great, man. Looks so good.
All right. Well, I think that is going to wrap up this week's show. We appreciate everyone watching live, downloading the podcast. We definitely appreciate it. If you can review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be awesome. You can message the show. If you don't want to tweet at us or anything like that, you can message the show directly from your phone. There's a link in the description below. If you have any questions, what are your game of the year stuff? What some games you're looking forward to coming up? We'll answer it, on a future show. Nick, any final thoughts?
I think we'll be back next Monday. We'll probably be talking about Astrobot. So
Yeah,
be exciting. Yeah.
very very exciting. All right, guys. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.